Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and today I actually want to talk about a specific tool on Victorinox knives, and that is the Victorinox awl. Okay, so the awls on Victorinox knives have changed for a very long time, since 1902, and I do not have any of those earlier ones, but I do have a few from the mid-70s, the 80s, 90s, and then modern iteration of these awls. And I wanted to show you guys the difference of those tools. So I have, at least to the best of my ability, the selection that I could find in my collection that demonstrates some of these changes. And really quick, let's consult a diagram that I found within one of the Facebook groups that I am a part of. Now, keep in mind, this diagram is not the best. It is a little bit grainy. It's a lower quality diagram than I wanted, but it will demonstrate and give you some of the dates, or at least soft dates, of how old your Victorinox knife might be. So let's quickly consult that diagram. Okay, so I hope that diagram gave you a good illustration of what these awls look like, but I have a few here that actually may give you a little bit of a better idea physically what these might look like. Now, I am actually missing one, but to my best ability here, I have gauged these to probably be 1970 to 1980, 1983 to 1985, 1986 to 87, and then 1987, and then this style actually continues on into the modern day Swiss Army knife. So let's start with the 1970 to the 1980 model. This one actually has that slight curve or divot at the tip of the awl. It does not have a sewing eye. It has a relatively flat surface, and then it has that bevel. Also has that concaved blade edge in here. You would really just sharpen this edge here. You wouldn't need to touch that up. This here is a very effective setup because, I mean, look how thin the tip is on that. It's going to pierce very quickly, very fast, and very effectively, especially when it comes to cutting into wood or even plastics. So that is the 1970 to 1980 style awl. So next is the 83 to 85. I actually am missing one, so bear in mind that is a difference, but it essentially is this one here, this one with the small divot in the end, but it's slightly less of a curve on the end. And this one, they actually did away with that completely. Here you have just the awl, and then you have that bevel on the edge, and that's it. You don't have a sewing eye here yet, and then on this end you still have that concaved blade edge. This one here does not have as thin as a tip or as piercing, but it's going to be a little bit more robust. This is going to be a little stronger, and it's going to probably put up a little more of a fight when it has to go through tougher materials than this other one back here. So then in 1986, Victorinox actually introduced the sewing eye, but they hadn't introduced the secondary bevel on the end here. It is still relatively flat, like the 83-85 version. You can see here it still continued to have that flat edge, but they included the sewing eye. So we've got a sewing eye now, and then we've got that beveled edge, and then over here we have the concaved edge. So there is that. Now the other thing I didn't mention is that there are slight differences in the nail nicks. Very slight differences but you can see that they have kind of a different size, depth, and finishing to them. So the nail nicks did change just a little bit, but I'm talking a minuscule amount. Then we move up to 1987 and the awl that we all know and love. And this is the one with the slight bevel on the end there. You can kind of see it there as it dips. And that is what we have now for our modern awls. And like I said about this one here, you have a robust tip, but it's going to put up a little bit of a fight. But I will still say that this is a very effective piercing tool. You can cut through leather. I use it sometimes to cut through plastic boxes to make zip tie holds, and sometimes I may even have to go through a few pieces of wood with this. So it's a very effective awl. I find it more effective than Wenger's awl, but I thought this would be a very interesting video just to be able to take a look at some of the different awl designs that have come out in the series of years that Victorinox has been around. Now, of course, they are extremely, how can I say, even more different than this when it came to 1902 and the earlier models like in the 40s and in the 50s. But here we have a pretty much universal design, very small increments in changes, and I thought you guys would enjoy this. So if you did enjoy this, let me know in the comments, and if you have a Victorinox knife that fits kind of this criteria, this kind of helps you gauge how old your knife is. So if you have one that fits into these dating periods, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see if you were able to find out how old your knife was. So till the next one, I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.